What's happening, guys? Welcome to another boxing breakdown and prediction show for this weekend's big featherweight clash over in the UK between former Irish Olympian Michael Conlan as he takes on newly crowned world champion Leigh Wood over at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham this weekend, live over on DAZN. So let's get into it. First things first, Michael Conlan comes into this one as the minus 185 favourite with champion Leigh Wood coming back at around a plus 150. And, I'm actually fairly surprised this fight ended up in Nottingham, to be perfectly honest. Top Rank have been fairly vocal about their support of Michael Conlan in the past. He sold out MSG a couple of times already. He's had Conor McGregor walk him to the ring as part of his entourage. A couple of huge sellouts in Belfast as well. So, he is a household name, at least in Ireland. But Eddie Hearn stumped up the cash for this fight to land over on DAZN. It's in the champ's backyard in Nottingham. But the place will be absolutely full of Irish nonetheless for this one, especially coming up to St. Patrick's Day. It's got a full card of Irish fighters in the undercard of this event as well. Gary Cully, Cuivan Orgiecko, who's been heavily pushed by Eddie Hearn over at Matchroom as well. Dillian White teammate Thomas Chiarty as well. So, it's probably going to be closer to a 50-50 type of crowd in there in all honesty. And, the atmosphere should be electric because of it. In regards to Conlan being the favourite for this one, a lot of people have said they simply haven't been impressed with him over the course of his career so far. I think that's probably fair enough, to be honest. Despite being a bit older at 30, he turned pro at a similar time as the likes of Shakur Stevenson, both under the Top Rank banner too, obviously. But, while Stevenson's gone on to, charge his way onto the world stage, he's won a world title already. He's now trying to unify up at super featherweight in a huge fight against Oscar Valdez next month. We just haven't seen the same from Conlan. We haven't seen that same type of progression so far over the course of his career. Although he does have the opportunity this weekend, Leigh Wood is a world champion, and it's something of a good luck story for Wood as well, in fairness. He had a couple of losses on his resume, early in his career to Gavin McDonnell and Jazza Dickens. And to be honest, he never really looked like he was going to take that next step to world level either. Wood was a fighter who always looked like he was going to be sandwiched somewhere between British domestic to European level, especially at almost 33 years of age last summer. But, that all changed pretty drastically last year when he was shoehorned in as a kind of stay-busy opponent against Can Xu. When that Josh Warrington fight fell through for Can Xu, and, boy, did he take his chance. Can Xu was a heavy favourite for that fight last year. A lot of people, including me, thought, he had just too much volume for Wood in there. And then he'd eventually wear Wood down, wide points decision win in that one. Moved then on to either Lara or Warrington, then to unify some of the belts. But, Leigh Wood had other ideas in that fight. He was absolutely superb, executed near perfect game plan under Ben Davidson. And, he simply never allowed Can Xu to get going in that fight, stopping him with some heavy shots in the 12th as well to finish the show. So, if that version of Leigh Wood shows up here again, I think this fight gets real interest. While a lot of people haven't been particularly impressed by Conlan, as we said, over the course of his career so far, he has faced some awkward fighters, to be fair to him, Beluda, Cunningham and so on. So I think he has suffered from a little bit of subpar matchmaking, in fairness to him. But, I, for one, thought his win over TJ Dehenny last summer was quite impressive. A lot of people were saying Dehenny was washed heading into that fight. Maybe he wasn't that good to begin with. But look, at the end of the day, this was a guy, in Dehenny who went to Japan. He beat Iwasa for the IBF title, defended then against Takahashi. Both really, really tough fights, especially going over to Asia. Then he was in an absolute war against current number 3 ranked junior featherweight contender Danny Roman as well. So, Dehenny is a guy who's mixed it at the top table in boxing. He did get surprised against Beluda on his comeback trail, but, Conlan made really easy work of him, in fairness, over in Belfast. I didn't think the fight was, particularly close at all. And, when you compare Dehenny's fight against Iwasa and Romain just 2 or 3 years earlier, that then puts Conlan's win in some really positive light in my eyes. I'm just not sold on Leigh Wood, to be perfectly honest. If this fight had been announced 12 months ago, for instance, I'd have no doubt personally thinking that Conlan would have gone in as a huge favourite, far bigger than he is now. So we're really basing this line off, the best Leigh Wood performance there's ever been. He did have a fantastic win over Kanzu, as we said, but, outside of that, I just don't think he's quite at world level. He caught a fighter in Kanzu who had been inactive for almost 2 years leading up to that fight. So, it really was a perfect storm for Wood in that one. And, that's taking nothing away from him. Obviously, he went in and did what he had to do in that one. But I just think this is Conlan's stage, in my opinion. And I do expect him to get the win here on Saturday night. Leigh Wood is the harder puncher of the two, no question about that. But, outside of that power, Conlan really has every other advantage in this fight. He's taller, he's rangier. He boxes well off the back foot, employs a solid jab. He can tie up well on the inside as well. So I think this is going to be a hard night's work for Leigh Wood in there to defend his belt. And I just think Conlan's crispness and overall better punch selection in there, is going to be the difference maker here come Saturday night. Michael Conlan to win by decision, technical decision, is going off at a plus 105. I quite like that price. I think Conlan is the better boxer of the two. Maybe that's some Irish bias talking here, but, we got to remember this fight is in Nottingham. It's in England. We saw the controversy over in Scotland a couple of weeks ago between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. So, Conlan needs to win this one convincingly on Saturday night if he's going to come out on top here. As, in my opinion, he doesn't have enough power to stop Leigh Wood in this one. So it's going to have to be quite wide in the points decisions. So that'll be my selection for this weekend anyway. Take Michael Conlan to win by decision, technical decision at plus 105 as your boxing play for this Saturday. That'll wrap things up for this episode. As always, leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. And you can also catch me over on Twitter at the SportsWolf83 and at my handicapper page, Kevin Dolan, over at WagerTalk. As always, thanks for listening. Until next time, Slán